Hello and welcome to this Webflow live stream. We're going to learn GSAP with none other than Cassie Evans from the GSAP team. Before we go to Cassie, I'd like to apologize for moving the stream from yesterday to today. We had some technical issues. There's a lot of backups here at the Webflow live stream that you may not know of. In fact, I have a second mouse. Whoop, I'm going to show that. I have a backup pair of headphones. We have a backup host that's always outside of the room. But what we don't have is a second pair of Wi-Fi. The whole building was out, so we moved this to today. And I appreciate all of you joining, taking time out of your day from yesterday to today. So who do we have in the chat? We've got Jonathan. We've got X-Adam. Thank you for joining. We've got Beatty, Isabel, who loves the background. Yes, this is the Webflow studio. Potentially also my bedroom. Who knows? We'll never know. Kev, thank you for the love for the shirt. We've got Varun. Appreciate all of you joining today. So yeah, let's kick this off. We're going to learn GSAP, kind of the intro to GSAP and how to use it within Webflow with none other than Cassie Evans from the GSAP core team. So please put your digital hands together. Give some love in the chat to Cassie, who is joining me. Cassie, how are you?
Hi, I'm all good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited. Everyone in
I'm
the
very
chat.
excited too.
Yeah, everyone's super excited to learn what GSAP is. Now, we did get the question. I think this is a good place to start. What is GSAP?
What is GSAP? It's a very good question. So GSAP is a JavaScript animation library. It's basically a set of tools to help you animate pretty much anything. It's used by a ton of very talented creative developers, a lot of them in the Webflow community, which is kind of why I'm here today. We've realized that there's lots of really amazing work coming out of our two communities together. And yeah, so it's like Webflow is a lot of like low code, no code people. And the thought of coding animation can feel a little bit intimidating. But once you kind of learn the basics, it's incredibly freeing. So like I myself actually learned GSAP before I officially learned JavaScript.
Okay.
So the syntax is very accessible. It's not like all mathsy and confusing, like a lot of people would think it would be. Yeah, if you've ever messed around with like animation timelines in After Effects or Premiere or something, you'd be familiar with a lot of the concepts already.
Absolutely. And when do you officially learn JavaScript? Is there like a you get a little certificate? You know, once you understand what a promise is, they send you a certificate. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I definitely have a certificate somewhere. I've got my official JavaScript certificate.
That's good. So our goal here is not to become official JavaScript, or maybe it's so you can get a intro certification into GSAP and the basics of animation within GSAP. And speaking of which, how about we start there? I did a call to see what are some websites, what you can build with GSAP in Webflow.
Oh, that was such a good tweet. I saw that.
Yeah, so let's start there, and then we'll kind of dive into building our kind of example for today. So you can see my screen. Everyone can see my screen. Let's jump in here. So we've got some sites.
Spoilers.
Got Rob. Let me refresh because a lot of these are on these really, really cool.
This one is great. I'm going to be adding this one to the GSAP showcase later on this week or next week.
We've got work. Yeah, Melissa from the Flow. Well, Melissa and company from the Flow Party team built this. Oh wow, that's really cool. Actually, you can see. Actually, this is similar to what we're going to build a little bit today, right? This little stagger.
Oh yeah, a little scrolling. Stagger.
Yeah, really, really cool. So folks, we're showing the websites. We're going to build a little cool. Oh, they got a little square. Oh, cool. Let me refresh. I remember this one had a really cool.
Oh, that's a cool effect.
Yeah. Maybe we should not build. Let's just look at websites for 40 minutes.
Yeah, we could do. We really could do. One of my favorite jobs are adding sites to the GSAP showcase.
Oh, cool. It's like we got the little images in the text. Yeah, really good. Amazing work.
That's really cool.
So that is an example of what's possible. So this is kind of our goal let me refresh this. And Cassie, maybe talk through at a high level what's going on here. And
yeah. So I thought that we would focus on like the kind of core basics of GSAP, and that is tweens, which are the thing that you animate things with, and timelines, which is where you sequence animations, and staggers, which is another way to sequence animations. So this is just very stagger heavy. We've got kind of a staggered in loading, bit of loading text with a nice font. And an overflow hidden div around it, so it looks like it's disappearing. And then we've got some images that are staggering in, and kind of a little subtle fade on them as well.
Yeah, so we've got the little loading, the square comes in, and then we stagger these images who have some like they're also feels like they're zooming in and out. So this will be our goal for today. Now, I'm going to bring you into the Webflow setup. I'm going to talk through that. So essentially we have our kind of, let me actually maybe hide the images first. Let's make this hidden.
It's so cool seeing all the CSS stuff on the side.
Yeah,
As someone that's like very familiar with CSS, like it's very cool seeing, like so, it kind of reminds me of, yeah.
We won't be spending too much time. If folks are interested, if you're interested in getting the clonable, it's actually already available. If you go to the description and into, so you can kind of have all of this. But what we have is that loading paragraph, and then each letter is a span with loading underscore underscore letter, right? So we've given a class to each one of these letters, and that's what we're going to go ahead and animate. And that's pretty much the starting point. So with that kind of translating to your CSS, maybe HTML environment, we've got a paragraph, each letter is a span. Yeah, how do we do that little intro animation?
Awesome. So I guess the first thing that we have to do is get GSAP installed. So I don't know how much you've prepared ahead of time. Have you dropped in some script tags?
I have, but let's imagine that I haven't. So
imagine that you haven't. Okay.
Here.
Yeah, so we've actually got a starting point for Webflow people specifically. And I made an installation video recently, and it's got a whole Webflow section in there. So if you're a little bit new and you don't really understand script tags or whatever, then don't worry, you can just go to this page in our documentation. So we're basically opening up the page settings, and we've got this little custom code panel. And this makes any code that you put in there global, so it will apply to all of the pages of your site.
Yeah, right here.
So yeah, all we have to do is grab this little script tag, and this is just the JavaScript library, the main GSAP JavaScript library. And the main library has pretty much everything that you'd need to create really flexible performant animation. We've got a lot of plugins and stuff as well, so you can add plugins for like scroll animation or text animation or motion path animation. But yeah, just for now, we're going to grab the main JavaScript library.
So I can paste this here in the body tag. What I've gone ahead and done is actually enabled it. Let me actually not save. Discard changes. Let's go into site settings, custom code. And I've included it as a script across all of my pages, because my website will have GSAP in every page. That's how much I love GSAP.
Yeah.
And so those are the two options. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And yeah, you want to put your GSAP code and any code that you write in the footer, so that it's after all of your DOM elements, like your Webflow stuff, is already loaded, and then there's JavaScript after that that's going to be manipulating things.
Yeah, great. Okay, so let me go page settings, and we're going to start here to write the code. So yeah, I guess this is where everyone either gets nervous or very excited. We want to animate each one of those letters to kind of in and out. Where do we start?
Awesome. So we're going to make a script tag to start off with. And that's the same as like the script tag that we added the GSAP library with. But this one, we're just going to make it, we're going to open the script tag and then write our JavaScript code inside and then close it afterwards. So yeah, that's like our little container that we're going to put our custom code into. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a tween to animate these letters. So if you, we could go to the docs to show people the tweening page. So yeah, you don't have to like learn all the syntax off by heart. We've got a cheat sheet and we've got the documentation that's got all of these little snippets in there for you. So a tween is basically the thing that does all of the animation. And there's three main tween methods. We've got gsap.to, gsap.from, and then gsap.fromto. And they kind of do what you would imagine they would do. gsap.to animates to a position, gsap.from animates from somewhere, and from.to animates from somewhere to a new position. So let's try the gsap.to actually. We can just copy that little code snippet that we've got there.
Right here.
In that little box. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's copy that.
Let's go here. Then walk me through what are each one of, what does this mean?
Cool. So basically, without like getting too nerdy into coding stuff, the bit that's highlighted at the moment, this is the bit that tells GSAP what you want to animate. And we've got a class here. So this is just saying like GSAP grab anything on our web page with the class of box. So we're going to want to strip this out and change it for whatever class we've got on those spans.
Yeah, so we have loading underscore letter. So this is saying the dot means that it
where does that live?
It lives right here.
Sorry, where does that live in Webflow?
Yeah, good question. So right here, if I expand the span right here. So this is, you would call that a class. We would call that a style. And so I'm essentially just taking the value of that name of that style and then saying that is what we want to animate right here, correct? Yeah, let me just...
Awesome.
2 scrolls. There we go. Loading letter. We have it open here. Great.
Cool. And then we've got these like squiggly brackets and all the stuff that's inside those squiggly brackets. These are basically our instructions for the animation. So you can animate any property of anything that JavaScript can touch with GSAP. So there's some kind of common ones, and that's like rotation and X and Y,
right?
And scale, that kind of thing. But you can pretty much animate any CSS property, even like strings like box shadow or filters. They're a little less performant, but you can.
Yeah.
So here, this is saying rotate loading letters by 27 degrees and move them on the x-axis by 100 pixels. For a duration of 1 second. So what we want to do is we want to animate from the bottom. Or let's animate 2. We're doing a 2 tween, aren't we? So
yeah, so this
let's
would be
animate the letters.
Move out. Maybe we could start there. We can change it after. So
yeah, we can change that afterwards.
How would I say move the letters up? Yeah. So
you could do Y, but you'd have to kind of guess the number of pixels. There's a pixels, there's a property Y%, and Y% is based on the height of the element itself. So if we say Y% minus 100, that'll move it by its whole height up.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's get rid of the X as well. We can get rid of duration.
Yeah. Let's try that. Should we start there and see what it looks like?
Perfect.
Okay, let's save. Let me publish. Now we're going to do this manual publishing, and then we'll move to Slater once we've done one, just so it's a little tiny bit faster. Okay. Oh, cool.
Cool.
Okay, it's a good start.
So yeah, it's doing the thing. It's not particularly impressive right now. That's like something that you could easily do with Webflow interactions. So let's just jump back in and we'll have another little look. So a really fun thing. Let's change it to from actually, so that we've
from the bottom. Yeah, so we're going
from the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, got it. So it's going to go from where we specify to the actual position that we've kind of like placed it in Webflow. So here it was going from where we placed it to minus 100. So we're going to go from minus 100
to 100.
Oh, 100, yeah, because we want to go up. Yeah, that makes sense.
Comes from the bottom. Yeah. Awesome.
Give that a try, or you want to start doing the...
Yeah, we can give that a try, and then we'll do a little stagger.
All right, I promise. This seems simple, but we're going to get to the magic in a moment here. Just making sure we got the...
Yeah,
Looks
it's
really
always
cool.
good to get the basics in.
Okay.
Awesome. So that's a from tween and a to tween. So what we're going to do now, a really, really nice and simple thing that looks really fun is staggers. And staggers are really difficult with CSS or in Webflow interactions because your individual animations don't have an awareness of the previous one. So if you want to stagger some things, you have to add a delay individually to each element that you want to animate. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to add in one more property, and we're going to say stagger.
So comma, just to say it's a new property,
Comma.
stagger.
Yep. And then we'll say 0.1.
0.1. So, okay. And that property is what does 0.1 mean in this case?
So that means the amount of time that you want to stagger in between each element.
Okay, got it. So it's going to find every
start times.
It's going to find every loading letter, move it by 100 by like its height from 100% over its height for 1 second, and then sequence it or stagger it by 0.1 second. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's publish.
So this is like the easiest way to sequence animations in GSAP.
Oh, cool.
Ta-da!
Yeah, that's like, yeah, really cool. So it's just like really, really quick, and we can, so a lot of, actually, like if we look at, I think this, you can kind of see a similar style. This is based on scroll, not on time. But you know, you can kind of imagine going from where we are to something like this. That's really, really cool.
And similarly, if you want to tie animations to scroll, like you can tie animations to scroll with a couple of lines of code as well. So it's not too far off where we are.
Okay. Perfect.
So let's do a little bit more of an interesting stagger. So the thing about GSAP is the power lies in its flexibility. It can be really simple, but you can also kind of pass in other properties and make it do other things. So rather than passing in 0.1 here, let's pass in, we're going to pass in an object. It's just those squiggly brackets again. So we're going to open a set of squiggly brackets.
Yeah, so I'm saying instead of stagger 0.1, we're going to add additional properties, like additional things in the stagger. So we open a bracket, close a bracket,
and then we can add in more
sideways mustache,
you know, squiggly boys. Right, squiggly so we're going to say each 0.1, and that's the same as we had before. And then we're going to we can say where we want to stagger from. So we can say from, and here we can specify like the start or the end or the center or a particular index value. So let's just say center for now, and we'll put it in quotes because it's
it's a string. So we're saying from center, and you'll understand that if there are 10 elements, it'll find the 5th, or 11 elements, it'll find the 6th. So it understands that kind of language. That's pretty cool. Any other properties?
Let's just give that a go.
Okay.
For now.
So removing the comma. Oops. Okay, saving. We're publishing. So, all right, let's refresh. Oh no, I messed it up. Let's see what's going on. Unexpected token, comma.
Is there another squiggly bracket somewhere?
Yeah, there's probably too many. I missed. Okay, let's look into this. This is one of the challenges. So open, close. Let me bring these closer together. Oh, that's weird. Should there be... Oh, I put 2 dots in front of the stagger. I think that's the issue. Do I need it?
Because you're missing another squiggly bracket. Closing squiggly bracket.
Am I? Is it not here?
No, there's 2 because we've got 2 nested objects.
So
squiggly bracket.
Oh, of course. So we do need
squiggly brackets are that's the final boss before you get your JavaScript certificate. You have to master all the squiggly brackets.
I'm not ready. Luckily, I have you. Okay, let's refresh here. All right. There we go.
So that's coming from the center now. I see you've got the tab open there for staggers, I think. Yeah, in the GSAP docs. So this is just animating like one row, but you can also specify a grid as well. So you can tell GSAP, I've got a bunch of things that are arranged in a grid, and my grid is this wide and this high, and I want you to animate from the edges or a random value, and it'll work out all of the maths for you. So pretty magical. This is one of my favorite things that you can do with GSAP because it's so simple and it looks so effective.
Yeah, that's super cool. I see this ease. So we currently don't have any easing.
No, well, we've got the default easing, which is just kind of like a gentle ease out. So yeah, if you go to the GSAP docs, we've got an ease visualizer.
Right here.
And there's loads of different eases that we can add in. So, and you
cool.
can see them all visualized here.
Okay, so folks want power.
I'm very proud of this ease visualizer.
Yeah. Is this your work? Did you build this?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. How about we add in ease power out 4? That's what the chat is requesting.
Or we could do a silly one.
Okay. Tell me more.
Like a bounce ease. Should
Bounce?
we do a bounce ease?
Okay, bounce out. Okay. Let's do a little bounce.
I'm overriding the chat because I want silly easing. Sorry, guys.
No. See, people are loving. They didn't know what they could do. They didn't know the power that they harnessed.
So this is going to go outside of the stagger object.
Yeah. So my formatting here is terrible. It's definitely not going to get my job.
This is the hard thing about this code panel. So if you're writing JavaScript like in CodePen or your IDE, you have formatting for you. So it kind of automatically puts things on the right lines, and it's less difficult to miss the squiggly brackets.
I'm sure we'll miss one anyway. Ooh.
Way.
Nice. I like it.
So yeah,
silly.
that's some silly nonsense.
I like it. Okay.
Cool. So let's get back on track and actually like do this little animation. Did we want to move over to Slater now, or are we gonna
let's do that. So I'm just gonna copy this code. I'm gonna go over to Slater. I'm pasting. I'm saving. It's got
look at that formatting.
Much better. I'm gonna remove it from here so that way we can test. So Slater is just allowing us to hot refresh so we don't have to publish every time.
This is really cool. I wish I'd known about Slater when I was doing the install video for Webflow. I think I might have to add a little section because it's really nice to have that Slater integration for writing code.
Yeah, so we have script is loading, which I put right here, and then we have we are writing. We've got power now. We don't need Let's what's the next? We want to animate out.
Let's animate out. So let's get rid of the silly ease and just put one of my favorites is expo. So if you change the word, bounce to out.
Saving. Oh, cool.
Awesome. Expo is nice and swishy. It feels very slick. So if we go back into our code, what we want now is we want to add an exit animation for the loader. So if you copy paste that gsap.from and
everything. So basically we're going
to just copy it all, copy the whole thing.
Okay, so we just said...
not yet. So pop a gsap in front of that one.
Oh, okay. So we're adding like this. We're just saying gsap.from. We're copying the whole block.
The whole block. So let's change from to 2. Cool. And then we'll change y% to -100. So this is kind of more like what you would have with Webflow interactions or CSS. Like you'd create an animation and then you'd create another animation. And if you wanted this one to run after the first one, you'd have to add a delay. So we can add a delay after the ease value.
Imagine just delay.
We've got a duration of 1, so 1.5 maybe.
Yeah. So we're essentially
So if we were to play this now, we should have an entrance animation and then a little pause and then an exit animation. Cool.
Yeah, there we go. Waits and then goes off again. Yeah.
But that's really annoying because if we were to change the duration of the first tween, The second tween doesn't know about that, so we'd have to update the delay. And if you have loads of sequenced animations, you'd have to keep updating all of these different numerical values.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to create a timeline. So right at the top, let's say let timeline equal, perfect, gsap.timeline. And then we've got round boys.
Round boys.
Yeah, amazing. And then all we'll do is we'll change the first GSAP to timeline, TL. And then the second one, we can get rid of GSAP so that it's like sequenced.
Okay,
after the first
so
one.
let me read this back to you.
And then we can get rid of the delay as well, because naturally it will just follow on. Yeah.
Okay. If I understand, like we're saying this is now a timeline, so it understands it's going to like sequence these, right? Say this, we start here and then we do this. And so if I change the duration here, it'll always understand that this was 5 seconds and then this starts after this.
Yeah,
okay.
that's
so
perfect.
Let's try it.
The ease was annoying me as well. So can you change the out to in out? So expo.
In out like this?
And then with a capital O. Capital O. Yeah, that's the one.
There we go.
More squiggly brackets.
Okay. So let's refresh here.
Yeah, let's give that a
go. Ooh. But now,
ta-da!
What if I want to stay here for like a couple seconds?
So yeah, we have a position parameter for timelines, and a position parameter basically lets you put tweens on a timeline wherever you want to position them. So there's lots of different options. There's a page in the docs which has some interactive examples which we could look at.
So on the timeline,
position parameter page.
Oh, position. Right, I had it open. Yeah. So let's go position. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the one. Cool. So that's the default timeline. That's just kind of playing one tween after another. And then here we've got some gaps in between, and we're doing this with this little relative string value that you can see here. So this is saying plus equals one second. So it's adding a 1 second gap.
So that square would be the loading kind of coming in for us. And then we want the second one, which is this one, to be 1 second after. So we have to add this.
Yeah, right? Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. And we add it to the second. So like the
one it goes
the delay.
after the squiggly brackets that contain all of our instructions.
Okay, so let's do 2 seconds. So we'll notice it. So it's going to stay at 2 seconds here. Okay. All right. Bam. 1.
So we animate in,
2.
And then it waits for a little bit.
Ooh.
And then we animate out.
Very nice.
Yeah. And because this is JavaScript, this value here is just, like 2 seconds, but you could do fancy things to wait for your images to load or whatever if you were like really nerdy.
Right. So it doesn't have to be like you can say calculate or trigger this when this happens or that happens. And some folks are saying 3GS in the chat, and pretty much you can put anything as long as it is a moment, right? And then you can say, then do that.
Yep, exactly.
Perfect. Okay. Folks,
cool.
So Dominic says nerdification intensifies. People are excited about GSAP, and
Hooray.
And we've only just animated text. So where are we here? We did the chat. Oh, we did the chat. We did the loading.
Oh, we've done a little stagger out. Awesome. So now we want to do the rest of it, and it's all going to be pretty much the same things that we've covered already. So
okay, let's come back here.
Kind of little block that fades in.
Let's do the block.
Gives the background a better color.
So in Webflow, that block is called entry-bg. Simply 100 view width, view height, right? So that's currently that's why we have a black background, right? So we want to talk to me about how do we move it out of the way to bring it back in that kind of cool way.
Cool. So we're going to use a from tween after this. So we can add another little from tween, and we're going to scale it in.
Okay. So
we
entry
can,
BG is what I'm animating.
yeah, awesome. We're going to squiggly brackets again.
These are my properties. So I'm saying these are the
Yeah,
different
with
things I
your-
want to do to entry BG.
yeah, awesome. So
Scale.
we're going to animate from a scale of maybe like 0.5, so
0.5.
half the size. And then we've got a special property, which we might as well use here, called auto alpha. Might as well just to introduce it. So auto alpha is opacity and visibility. So in this case, it's not really needed because we're just animating a div, but it's very useful if you want to hide something, like officially hide something in the DOM rather than just visually hide something.
Okay, so this
we
both
can say auto alpha
both removes it from the DOM and hides, like makes it transparent.
just with visibility hidden. So
Oh, I see.
it's removed from the DOM for screen readers.
Okay.
So yeah, let's say auto alpha 0. So that's animating it from not existing. Oh yeah, so we can add in an ease here as well. So we'll add
Ease. Let me go into the
let's
eases.
do
Yeah.
yeah, let's have the chat can decide what we want to what ease to use.
Expo scale, power 3, power 2. Here are the options. Steps. Oh, steps is funny.
Steps is a really fun one because you can do sprite animations really easily with steps.
All right, folks. I see elastic, power 2 out, power 4. This is the kind of, you know.
Elastic is a fun one.
Elastic. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's try it. I mean, we want like elastic springy. In, correct?
Yeah, we can do elastic in.
Elastic in. Oh, wow, there's like a whole. I'm just gonna copy paste. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, copy paste.
Okay, ease. Okay. Okay. So scale, auto alpha, ease. What else you got?
Yeah, that's all good. Let's give that a go.
Let's save that. So from entry BG from 0.5.
Well, let's put a duration on there, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We can put a duration maybe of like 1.
1, and this is going to play...
The default duration is 0.5.
You want 0.5?
That's usually, it's a nice duration, but well, that's if you leave duration off, then it's just by default 0.5.
Okay.
Yeah. But for the stream, we'll make things a bit longer because it's nice to be able to see what's going on.
And this will play at the end of this.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we got. This is the chat. So if it doesn't look good, this is because of the chat. Oh, we got an error. Awesome.
Oh.
That's perfect. Unexpected duration. Duration is unexpected because I missed a comma.
Because you missed the comma. There we go.
Just got to get that JavaScript certification. This is...
Yeah.
All right.
Commas is also like a boss level.
Okay. Now we don't see it. That's good.
So we've got the kind of gradient background now, which is nice. That's what we wanted.
Oh, there was like a little... Oh, that was the elastic.
Yeah, it's probably the bouncy ease. We can put a less unhinged ease on. I just thought it would be funny.
The chat, never listening to the chat again. That's it. That was your one chance, and the chat just messed it up.
So let's do an expo in for this one.
Expo in, dot in.
Dot in, yeah, with a little.
Yeah. Let's save that.
With a little letter. That's a capital I.
See?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
All right.
So yeah, I mean the hard bit with GSAP is like learning all the syntax really, but you don't have to learn it off by heart. Like I've been using GSAP for years and I work there and I copy paste stuff from the docs constantly. In fact, there's some quick start panels right at the top of the docs, which I added in because I was annoyed about having to scroll constantly. So I made some easier quick start copy paste snippets just for myself and for everyone else.
How much of coding is just copy pasting? It seems like it's most of it.
Like 99.9%. And then the last bit is working out why everything's broken when you've copy pasted it.
Yeah, copy pasta boss. Yeah, exactly. That's where we are.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Cool. So next,
Yeah, we
let's do.
got the loading. We like that. We got the little square coming in, and now we got this little movement of each div of like, so here I got these divs called, let's remove the hide, right? So we see them come up. So I have these as gallery image wrapper. That's my class or my style. And I want to kind of move these from the bottom to the top. I'm already using kind of GSAP language there. So I guess, do we just go from?
Yeah, so you can just copy paste that again. Or make a new one. You're going, just typing, that's all good. So yeah, you're going to add in your class here.
Yeah, so let me get the right one. And gallery-emg, img-wrapper, gallery-emg-wrapper.
So this has got overflow hidden on, doesn't it? So that we can scale the images inside. So we've kind of got a wrapper container that we're going to move, and then we've got images inside and we can scale them.
Yeah, so there's, let me just show that again. So there are two things that happen here. There's the movement of the div, like that, and then we can see the images, they're just scaled up, and then they're kind of scaling into the div. I feel
it's
like
really nice. I like one of my favorite motion principles is secondary motion, which it was a Disney principle of motion from the Disney folks, but I think it works really well for UI stuff. Like always kind of have a secondary movement, so your primary movement, and then something else that's kind of happening, and it adds a little bit of polish.
So Cassie, I'm gonna put you on the spot on the stream. What if we did a future stream where we would just start with a page and then we would just animate it, and we could add in some cool stuff and just start, really kind of making
yeah, that
sections
sounds really
pop.
fun. Yeah, that sounds great. I'd love that.
Okay, where were we? We are moving divs up into the page.
Yeah. So let's do another Y%.
So wait, I need to open here. I'm saying these are my settings. So squiggly boys,
Yeah.
squiggly brackets,
squiggly boys.
Yeah. Y%.
So we're going to say Y% again, which is the same thing that we did with the loading text. And I think that your squares are about 50% of the height of the page, aren't they? So if we say like 150, I reckon that should move them out of the way. We can always add more numbers if it's not exactly right. And then we're going to do a stagger as well. So let's do a stagger again. We can do maybe like 0.0, like a little bit less than 0.01. So 0.05 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's try that.
Okay, it's going to stagger from the left, right? So it's going to kind of like, Okay, let's start there.
Let's give that a go.
Anything else?
Should we let's add a duration and an ease. Yeah. So let's make this a little slower. We'll do like a 2-second duration and then, an ease. Are we going to ask the chat again?
The chat?
Should we stick with Expo?
I'm giving the chat one more chance.
Okay.
So we're going to start with ease, but if folks have recommendations, so like, no funny business. Bounce, steps. Okay. The serious people want power 4. Power 4. Let's do that.
Awesome. While we're in pop back for a second.
Yeah.
Because a very cool thing. It's a little bit too much for today, but if you click on custom ease on the right.
On the right, custom.
Above Club GSAP.
Custom,
so right column, just above Club.
Oh, custom
Club
ease.
GSAP.
There we go.
Whoa. Yeah, custom ease. So you can make your own ease. You started on hard mode because you clicked on steps first. So if you click on say power 1, if you click on power 1 and then go to custom ease, you can kind of create your own ease.
Oh, cool.
And there's like little editing hints as well, so you can add add little what are they called? Nodes. Yeah, little nodes.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
And delete nodes. Yeah.
Okay, let's
So
just try it.
that's really cool.
Okay, I'm grabbing it. Someone said custom in the chat, so if this
That
doesn't
one's
work,
never going to finish because it needs to be, or it'll finish halfway through the
oh, I see.
duration
Okay, let's
of the
just
animation.
take power 4. I went, yeah, let's just, you know, I got overconfident.
Overexcited.
That's okay. We'll do a follow-up. We'll do a, sorry, chat. That's it. That's all we need, right?
Awesome. Yeah, let's give that a go.
Let's give that a staging. Let me just check my syntax. Okay, not too bad. You know you're a serious developer when you squint at your code, you know? Okay.
Yeah.
Boom. Huh.
Where is it?
Where is it? Are we missing? No, it should.
Should we pop back?
Okay. Maybe.
Have a little look.
What are we doing here?
From
Y%. Let's try the minus maybe?
Yeah, let's give that a go. It should work.
There's Daniel. Yeah, there can be a Q&A. And don't forget to add your name to the credits. I completely forgot today to do that. So could it be a Z index thing?
Gone. It could be. With the little background. Should we get rid of the background square for now?
Let's try that.
Just in case. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah, let's remove it from here. Let's remove, should we remove this from to and we could just animate there?
Yeah, let's get rid of that one for now, because then at least that's ticked off in the bug hunting.
Okay, let's try that. Save. Oh, I need to publish. Apologies. The shortcut to comment everything out is Command/. And that is, I think, quite... Let's try that again. So we shouldn't have... Oh, there we go. We see them here.
Oh, there they are. They're up there.
Okay.
Okay.
And...
So we didn't push them out of the way enough, but there we go. There they are.
Okay, so we are... So it was because of the Z index, because that entry background was over it. So let's go ahead.
That's an easy fix, but we'll skip.
So it should be, we'll maybe do 200 here. So they're coming from the bottom. Let's end.
Yeah, that sounds good. And let's do an out ease as well, because an out ease is going to like softly fade into place, whereas an in ease does the fade at the start and then it kind of jerks into place at the end.
Like that.
So out eases, out eases are good for entrances and in eases are good for exits.
Okay.
It's like kind of the other way around.
Okay. So
awesome. Let's give that a go.
Let's give that a go. Boom.
Hooray.
Nice.
If there's anyone that's like super nerdy in the chat, so we're using Y% for this, but because it's JavaScript, if you wanted to do some sort of calculation based on the height of the web page or like the height of another section or something, you could do that as well. So we're kind of keeping it simple, but yeah.
Okay, I think awesome. So this one comes in from the center.
Yeah. Do we want these to come in from the center? Oh, they come in from the center. Oh no, wait, this is my one.
This is yours.
That's yeah, I was like, wow, we've done such a good job.
So stagger. Let me see if I got this.
Can
stagger
make this an object.
And then each. I think we had 0.05. We already have it here, so we can actually remove that. And then from center.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, we can do that. Instead of each, you can also say amount, and that spreads the amount of stagger over them. So you could say amount like 1 second, for instance, and it would spread the stagger out over that time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So Pablo wants to see the little.
Them really fast.
The how do we make the secondary motion? So let's get there. So let's do that. Let's go here. Refresh. Oh, we messed it up.
It's going to do them really fast now because it's going to stagger the whole stagger animation over. Oh, comma.
Yeah. Classic. let's do that. Saving, let's refresh. Oh, we got a little, we can see them at the bottom, but we won't say anything about that. Boom. Nice.
Cool.
That's very nice. Okay. So,
oh, let's move them down a little bit more. So like say 250 instead of 200, and then we won't be able to see them. Awesome. And then we're going to do the little secondary motion bit with the scale.
Yeah, so let's just show that one more time. Loading, bam, comes in, and then the images kind of fall into place beautifully. So that's just their size is coming into. So how would you think about that in GSAP?
So the same as we've got for the previous tween. So we can copy the whole previous from tween.
This one right here,
the gallery image wrapper. Yeah, let's copy paste that.
Okay, so copy pasting that. There you go. Same element.
Awesome. Well, we're going to target the element that's inside it.
Right, which is gallery image. Image.
Yeah, brilliant. So let's
I might get my certificate in class naming.
Yeah, definitely, and in squiggly brackets. I'll send you a little badge. Awesome. So this one, what we're going to do instead of Y%, we're going to do scale. So we're going to say from a scale of larger than it is. So we'll say maybe 1.8. So that's going to start them off large, and then they're going to scale down to their normal size. And then the position parameter, what we want is we want this to start at the same time as our previous staggering. So we can do this with what's called a pointer. So you can either go to the position parameter docs, or you can trust me.
I trust you 100%.
You trust me? Okay,
I trust
cool.
you.
So
I think you could run the stream. I think this is great. I think everyone trusts you. No one. Cassie for president is very present in the chat right now. That's what everyone is saying.
That's nice. So we're going to do a little pointer arrow. So it's on my British keyboard, it's to the right of my M key.
Okay, so is it greater than or smaller than? So this would be smaller than.
Yeah, this would be smaller than.
Smaller than.
That's
okay.
And this is you can think of this as pointing to the start of the previous tween. It's like start this one when the previous one started.
Okay, so started at the same time as this.
Yeah, starts at the same time as that one.
Okay. I think Alicia called this a chevron, and I never heard that before.
Oh yeah, you call it a chevron.
I don't know if it's a
chevron
left chevron
sounds very American.
Or a right chevron, but yeah, smaller than is how I think about it. But
yeah.
All right, let's try that.
I was just going pointy arrow boy because I didn't want to
pointy arrow boy. I love it.
Do code things at people.
Okay. Oh, we see it. We see a little bit.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe a little more. Maybe we want to do like.
Do you want to do scale from like
2.2 maybe?
Yeah, 2.2 sounds good.
Yeah, let's try that. Okay, now's a good time to fill out if you have any questions in the chat for Cassie, and make sure to add your name to the credits.
Yeah.
So you show up in the credits. Yeah.
We've got a stagger on that at the moment. On those ones, which we don't really need. We could have a stagger, but we could also just do them all the scales at the same time.
Oh, right, because the scaling, we don't want it to be at the same time as the move in, move out. We're kind of, oh, cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
That looks really cool. All right.
And we could also make the scale a little bit like duration longer than the move in, so that it kind of moves in, and then the scale finishes. That would be quite nice.
We've gone from Learn GSAP to an animation masterclass from Cassie, which I love. It's a great transition.
I'm just being particular.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's lovely.
That looks great. That's fantastic.
That's a vibe.
Should we bring back that black background?
You can bring it back if you wanna try. I don't know what's going on with the Z-index.
So there are questions from the chat.
Pop it in and we'll see.
People want the badge. They either want a GSAP badge. Don't seem to care so much about.
Badges.
Oh, we're bringing it.
I
Wait,
can't
let me make it bigger.
give them to you though. I have them.
Okay, how does one get the
Little
GSAP badge?
badges.
GSAP ASAP.
Can I smush it through the screen? I don't think I can. Otherwise, I would give you all badges.
Okay. Okay, so questions from the chat. Well, I'll do we got 10 minutes here. Now's a good time. Go ahead and fill out the form to make sure your name are in the credits. But Cassie, questions from you. So question from Jemsy. We used from and to for the loading letters. Couldn't have we used from to, like as one, I'm blanking on the word, like one tween, I guess, from to instead of from to?
Yeah. It's a really good question, and we could have done. We used a from tween and then a to tween because we wanted a kind of gap in the middle. So we wanted to animate in and then have a bit of a delay and then animate out. But you could use a from to. You just have a fluid tween, so it would go from the one position to the other position. You could make a kind of faux stop in the middle if you did like a ease in out, because it would kind of go like slowly and then wait and then out. So
got it. Question from Louis. Does GSAP affect page speed?
Well, it's anything.
It's a tough one.
Any animation, it's a trade-off. So you have to be mindful when you're animating.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think people get like animation gets a bad rep, because people will use animation in places where it's not needed and it doesn't really serve the brand, or it doesn't kind of have a purpose. And I think you have to animate with that in mind. So what message am I delivering with this animation? Is it adding to the overall experience of the website or not? GSAP itself is very performant. So if you animate the right properties and you animate with that in mind, then it's fine. But it's the same as anything. If you add tracking pixels to your website, you're gonna affect performance. It's always like a little bit of a trade-off.
Yeah, for sure. Question from Pablo: is there a reduced motion option? And maybe just a more general question on accessibility. Maybe someone doesn't want motion. How should folks think about when adding GSAP into their website?
That's a really good question. So we have something called gsap.matchmedia, and matchmedia, you can listen to see if a user has reduced motion set on their device. So if they'd prefer an experience that isn't animated, and then you can adjust your animations accordingly. So yeah, I would say that's an incredibly important bit of animation. And yeah, definitely take a look at that.
Yeah, great. Question from TJK, which asks, who doesn't know much about JavaScript? Is GSAP a good place to learn, or should they learn the basics of JavaScript first? I think I know your answer here.
Yeah, so my answer would be definitely, like, I learned GSAP before I learned JavaScript. Or to be fair, I tried learning JavaScript, and all of the tutorials I was doing all involved like array methods and logging stuff out to the console. And I was like, I don't really understand why I'm doing this. It was way too abstract. But then when I found GSAP, it was moving around visual things with code, and everything just clicked for me. And suddenly, if you needed to animate multiple things and you could loop around them, I was like, oh, I understand what a loop is, and I understand like how to target elements in the DOM. So, I mean, it's up to you, but I think GSAP is a very good place to start, just by making fun things.
Personally, as a JavaScript noob, this was easy. So, it's really, you kind of understand the structure, and folks are really, really asking about the button. We really want to know, where can they get a GSAP button? So we're going to have to make that somehow.
What, these little badges?
Yes. I don't know if there's a conference they have to go to, but it sounds...
Yes, so I think Isabel was actually in the chat. She's running a Webflow conference in Manchester soon, which I'm speaking at. So if you're a UK-based person in the chat, you can come along to Flowfest. I think it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure Isabel will jump into the chat
Yeah,
and
let's
tell
drop
you
it
if
in
I'm
the
wrong.
chat.
But yeah, drop it in, and then I'll give you a button.
Fantastic. Well, one last question for you, Cassie, before now's a good time, folks, drop your name in the credits. Where should people go from here, right? How do they keep in touch with you? Because clearly, Animation Queen, best teacher of GSAP, folks want to learn more about GSAP and about how to animate beautifully. Where should they go from here?
So our docs are full of examples and demos and starting points. So kind of just drop into the docs. We've got a getting started article as well that kind of runs through a lot of the stuff that we went through today. And the GSAP forums are very friendly. So if you're stuck and you need help, just pop into the forums. Like, we're a very small team, so the chances are that it'll be me or one of my colleagues in the forums helping you. So yeah, or you can reach out on Twitter, just be like, Cassie, help, and yeah, I'll give you a hand.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to keep in touch on Twitter, on the forums. I think we've created a lot of GSAP fans today. You've definitely created one in me. So, Cassie, huge thanks for coming on. And we'll see if people, if they want to see more of you, like drop it in the chat, but please let us a comment of what we should maybe animate next or what we should build next. So, Cassie, thank you once again for joining us today.
Thanks so much. Bye, folks. It's been really fun. Thank you for having me.
Bye, Cassie. Have a great. Thank you again.
Bye.
All right. All right. We got so many folks in the credits. Who do we have today? Thank you all for joining. We've got Matt, our assistant to the regional manager, Salvatore, ex-Adam, solver of pressing problems, Brian, Rahul, our Marcelo, Miles, Pablo, classic. We got folks saying buy Flow Fest tickets. I love yes, go buy Flow Fest tickets. Mohammed, Jeff, Jonathan, Dale, Steven, so many folks, TJ, Daniel. Wow, we've got a big roster. Tom Moy, Louis, we got Slater, Langstaff, Eugene. So we'll be back next week. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, and have a great week. Really appreciate all of you coming on. Bye, everyone.